This is a minor party.
There's a new partnership with Rick Ross, which is pretty major.
Shakira and Jay-Z signed Rick Ross to Def Jam, and so I met him at the very beginning of his career.
Hi, it's Courtney Rhodes, publisher of the BrandistaGuide.com, and I'm here for another episode of Brandista Spotlight with my great friend, Dina Marto.
Hello.
Dina is the CEO and founder of 12 Music Group and 12 Publishing. Is that right, Dina?
12 productions and 12 studios and 7th level projects.
Perfect. So Dina, as you know, our audience is a group of women who are really trying to hone in on their personal brand. It's about building their stories, finding out what makes them unique and different in the world, and kind of deciding how they're going to package that and present it. So I think you're a great person to kind of talk about your brand, your journey. And I want to start out by just give the Brandistas a little bit about your career path.
I started going into the public relations field. I opened a company at the age of 19 in college. Represented a lot of different people in entertainment and did a lot of event planning. I met L.A. Reid at an event. He later handpicked and hired me to work with him on his team at Island Def Jam.
Nice.
I worked at Def Jam for 6 years.
Okay.
And then I left about 4 years ago to start 12, which what I do is artist development, talent management, some publishing work, and then I have a studio in Midtown Atlanta.
Okay, so talk to me about some of the things that have been game-changing experiences in your career. You know, even if you could just think of one thing or one experience where you walked away and it may not have been the most positive at the time, but you were able to take the lesson and really use it to better your career or to give you more clarity on exactly what you wanted to do. Like, what has been something that's really influenced you and kind of...
I would say probably the biggest lesson and the hardest that I've had to go through in my life was when I worked at Island Def Jam. I worked for the late Shakir Stewart, who was the executive vice president of Def Jam, and I worked with him on, his everything he does every day, but also being the A&R coordinator for projects like LL Cool J, Janet Jackson, Young Jeezy, Rick Ross. So he had a really major role in music and pop culture.
Sure.
And he actually committed suicide in 2008, and there were so many lessons, obviously, that came out of that, and it was a major tragedy and experience in my life. But one of the things I remember thinking was oh my God, I spent all this time building with him, working with him and putting all my time and energy into his life and his career, and now it's just I feel like I was back at square one again.
Oh, sure.
But what I had to realize was all those things that I did prepared me for the moments where I got to step into being empowered and being in a position where I can be a leader as well. And so I believe a lot of my strength comes from the fact that I assisted before I actually stepped into a leadership position. I served before I led.
Okay, so switch gears once again. I know recently you made a big announcement.
Yes.
And there's a new partnership with Rick Ross, which is pretty major. Can you tell us a little bit about how that relationship started and kind of where it's cultivated to today?
Yeah, I've been knowing Ross for 9 years now, since 2006 when he signed with Def Jam, and it goes back to the whole Shakir thing. It's little pieces of my life that all go back to him sometimes. Shakir and Jay-Z signed Rick Ross to Def Jam, and so I met him at the very beginning of his career. I was there with him, when he recorded the first 2 albums, which was in my office in Atlanta.
Wow.
And I was, I've been there with him since the beginning of his career, and we've always stayed in touch. We reconnected recently, and we got together, and he was doing all this big stuff. I mean, Ross has developed this empire for himself with Maybach Music and just being a music mogul and all the different brands that he represents with Bel Air Rosé and DGK and Wingstop and all the different things that he's doing. And then he kind of saw me, and I was, kind of building my own little baby empire over here.
Your little baby empire. I love it.
And we just thought, it was kind of organic. It was really organic. We got together and we were like, there's some things we can do that he's been wanting to do, a new publishing company and just different things like that. And we just thought it was a perfect fit. So what we're doing now is I'm kind of consulting him on an everyday basis, just in business in general.
Right.
And helping him with everything from decorating his new Holyfield estate that he got to just do different business deals and signing different people. But we started a music publishing company. We're going to sign new writers and producers, and we're also launching an artist search for the newest Maybach music artist.
Nice.
And he's
Fun.
also made the Studio 12 his new headquarters for Maybach Music in Atlanta.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So you've got a lot with artists,
yes.
Your new partnership with Roz, and I would be remiss without mentioning the great Polo the Don, because I see Polo all the time when I'm here. So talk to us about that relationship and just the hits and being able to work with his creative energy.
Yeah. And Polo's a super producer. I mean, he helped shape the careers of Carrie Hilson, Sierra, Chris Brown, just a lot of different people. And he's made so many hits.
Right.
And he works right here in this building every single day, so I get to hear all the magic.
Yes.
But I manage him, and I help him with Zone 4 and all his projects that he has on Zone 4.
Oh, nice.
The different artists like Bando, Carrie, who else? MDMA, that's going to be coming out on Epic. Just a bunch of different stuff that he has going on, and he's just Polo's just Polo. He's amazing.
Love it. So you really do have your hands in a lot. You're kind of on the pulse of pop culture, really, because we know that this music influences pop culture. So switching gears once again, I know that you like shopping and shoes is kind of your thing.
Yes.
So tell us, are there any shoes that you have your eyes on right now and that you want for the spring?
So, yes.
Okay, tell us about them.
I kind of just got it.
Okay, even better.
I wanted it, and
you've manifested them already.
Yes,
okay.
The Valentinos, but they're yellow with the studs.
Oh yes, love those.
Oh my God, I'm in love with those.
Oh, it's a beautiful color too.
Yeah, they're just gorgeous. So that's my new little thing.
Okay.
I haven't even worn them yet, so maybe I'll wear them at the panel.
Yes, you should.
I should break them out.
You should break them out. Please do. Okay.
I always have my eye on something, and then when I kind of do little rewards for myself when I feel like I've accomplished something or I break through something.
Right.
I feel like you have to reward yourself through the process, and enjoy life at the same time.
You absolutely do, and you deserve those, and I can't wait to see you wear them. One last question for you, Dina. So one of the things that is important for brandistas is learning to embrace other women and work together. And I think it's no secret that sometimes women in competitive industries don't embrace each other the way we would sometimes wish that they kind of had or would. So what has your experience been, and what's just your take on that whole perspective of women embracing women in the more competitive work environments?
I do believe there's a lot of that competition, especially in music, because there's so the percentage is much less of the women in music that are in leadership roles or major positions, that there is so much competition that sometimes I feel like they want to be the only woman in the room.
Right.
I feel like there's power in women getting together and respecting each other. And, for me, and this is how I felt even towards men and just in general in my career, what I do is different from what you do. And you can't replace what I do. You know what I mean? I bring a different set of skills and energy to the table.
Absolutely.
And so being secure in knowing that I know what I know and that I know what I have to offer, I'm not threatened by anybody else that, comes into the scene or wants to be, part of the team, because I feel like if you want to join together and do work, I'm happy to do it, especially with women.
Right.
Because there's, not so many of them in this business. Right. So when I find one that's, cool and is smart and goal-driven and just all that kind of stuff, I definitely want to partner and do some things with them. So I think I may be different than, I think most women in general just kind of have that catty, competitive way. And I just don't. I don't even know if I even have time to entertain that kind of stuff.
Right,
You know?
right.
I just
Right.
don't.
Very good. So thank you once again
Thank
for
you.
taking the time to talk to us. This has
Yeah.
been very insightful, inspiring. Brandy says if you have, well, not if you have questions, but if you'd like to learn more about Dina, you could log on to her website, which is dinamarto.com.
Correct.
There's also 12musicgroup.com. So fabulous, amazing woman right here in
you.
Atlanta, making really big things happen on the music scene. So kudos to you, Dina.
I appreciate it. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me and letting me talk to the world.
That's right.